I get to introduce Professor Julie Marsh, who's going to frame the conversation for us and talk for a little bit. And then I'm going to bring the panelists up, and then we're going to have a conversation around these sort of issues for the student experience in schools.
The three areas that the research shows where we need more work, one has to do with building the capacity to implement some of these reforms. The second is that we need to think about some ways to increase funding and fix some of the issues that weren't really taken up by this new finance system. And then the third one has to do with achievement gaps. Basically what we find is that California's pre-K education system is really moving in the right direction, but there's actually a lot more we need to do if we really want to develop that sort of pathway for opportunity for all students regardless of where they live. Low-income students in California lag behind their counterparts at kindergarten entry, which suggests that there's something going on in our in the early childhood education system.
If local communities are engaged, if parents who have the best interest of students at heart are fundamentally part of the decision-making equation, that schools and districts would better spend public dollars. We work with parents on a place-based model, meaning we choose particular neighborhoods where we know that there are very large educational disparities, issues to be addressed. And we meet parents where there are in terms of where their passion is.
It's not a market we created, it's a market that right now students are facing where they either forego the opportunity to attend those better schools they work so hard to get into, simply because of lack of access to credit and funding, or B, they go to school like I did at Northwestern and work 9 jobs to pay my $12,000 gap. What we did is say, if we come up with a solution to fill that gap with responsible, affordable loans. The real question on the front end was our initial partners were, how are we going to find the students without going into every single high school manually and trying to find who's high achieving, who's low income and what have you. If the LCFF work starts to bear the fruit that it's supposed to, as it seems to indicate on the early data, we want to be ready to set up to carry that torch forward. Because we're not doing transactional lending where it's just interest rate and cosign or FICO, we're actually taking a bet on that student.
The power of looking at outliers in education is, it can't be celebrated more. In schools that are achieving more than they are expected to achieve, based on all of the neighborhood data we saw earlier today, right? We can see what are some pathways to solutions, and we can sort of disrupt what is typically expected of schools that have significant numbers of challenges.
We're going to collect this data, we can analyze it, right? We can understand, and we can continue to innovate and improve outcomes all the way from the cradle to college.